We all know that the data platform, the operational data layer, is what's going to make these really killer applications for AI. So who are the companies, or which are the companies that are going to get a big tailwind? Well, apparently MongoDB is one of them. It had a very strong quarter. And the market is starting to see, I think, its story move from being a really developer-centric product to a business-centric product, where companies are leveraging the technology and its capabilities to be able to build, implement, and continuously innovate on AI's capabilities in the app for applications. So you're talking about a company that saw its revenue grow 40% year on year, which in software SaaS is very, very strong. It saw the SaaS part of its revenue grow by 38%, and now is 63% of its Q2 overall revenue. The company's still not profitable, so on a GAAP basis, but it's getting very, very close to being able to do that, and it's creating a lot of cash flow. You and I were at the event in New York City, so we had time to talk to many of the company's executives. We had a chance to talk to many of the company's leadership as well as its customers. Talked to some large banks. We talked to some other large companies and startups that are building on Mongo. A very positive sentiment out there, Pat, on the company. You're seeing vector search, which is all about simplifying generative AI and semantic app builds. And we'll actually talk about that more when we talk about Elastic's earnings too, because we're seeing this kind of moving across the industry. We're also seeing that it's deepening its partnerships. So part of this earnings and also at the event we were at, Pat, is the company was busy announcing that it's expanding in its cloud integration. It had a big announcement this quarter around Google Cloud, but really MongoDB has deep ties and roots across the hyperscale cloud community. And so across the board, Pat, this is just one of those plays that, if you believe that this generative AI boom is sustainable, then you're going to have to believe that there are critical components, services, and tools that are going to be required to enable this continued build out. Vector search, operational or developer data, is going to be critical to basically building out the apps of the future. And you can see it here with what MongoDB is doing. You can see it there by the momentum. And like I said, I think one of the really important key trends is this is moving from really a developer kind of nerdy tool to something that the market's beginning to see as a very critical business component to companies that want to build generative AI apps for the future.
That was quite an analysis of the things you pointed out. And what I think is so interesting about MongoDB is how they moved from a best-in-breed database to what's now a data platform. And we've seen a couple companies who are doing that, right? And it just makes sense, right? A company starts off, they have a killer app, and they then try to extend that into something that is more and that's bigger. And it's a challenge, right? Because you try to grow, and you have to make expenditures, but absolutely it's working out for MongoDB. I mean, 78% gross margins is pretty incredible at that growth rate, right? So it's not like they're giving away products, they're growing. And if I look at what makes a successful data play, one of them is the hybrid multi-cloud. Now, MongoDB doesn't support every feature on every cloud, including its on-prem capabilities, but it's enough to get the job done. They used AWS as an anchor point and then moved to Google Cloud, and that's exactly the types of companies you want to be working with. I totally agree with you on the vector adder, and it's called Atlas Vector Search, which, by the way, competes directly. It's funny. It sounds like it competes directly with Elastic, but the two actually work together as partners. But congratulations to MongoDB, an eye-watering 40% growth at 78% gross margins.